But one thing that bothered me about this is how many comments I saw on my video from people who follow me, people who, presumably are, at the worst, just like left leaning or liberal at the absolute worst, and then going over all the way to, the far left and socialism and everything like that. People saying stuff like, oh, this is staged. Oh, this is nonsense. This is all made up. And it's like, bro, what is going on here? Like we're better than this. We don't know anything about what happened yet. And like people just like swearing up and down, no, this is a false flag. This is bullshit. I was like, people are dead. I feel actually I don't feel the same. Like when Sandy Hook happened, I would get really upset. I was obviously more upset with Sandy Hook than I am with what happened yesterday, obviously. But when there were actually dead people, like the confirmed people gone, I'm having a hard time buying this. Yeah, this is all a whole setup here. And so I don't know about you if you've seen any of this lately, but I've been pretty disappointed in the reaction with people so far. Oh no. Alex, are you there? Alex, you there?
You cut off a bit there. But I believe the last word you said was the reactions, right?
Oh, shit. I lost
the reactions if I've seen anything similar.
Yeah, that's the last thing I said is I've been really disappointed in the reaction of folks. What have you seen lately?
Similar stuff, saying that it was staged, saying that they had some gunman, like somebody who just so happened to aim right at his ear at 140 yards or however long it was. I'm thinking that's one hell of a shot to me. I mean, if you're aiming at something that small, like somebody's ear, I mean that's and then on top of that, I saw these Clinton conspiracy theories saying, "Oh, Hillary Clinton's out to get him." I'm thinking, well, she's running for political office, so what incentive would she really have at this point? Yeah, I saw this meme, Hillary Clinton pissed off, and the caption reads, "What you missed?" I see that, and it goes back to that whole Clinton conspiracy theory about oh, they killed Vince Foster and they killed Seth Rich and all this other stuff, and then of course there are people blaming Joe Biden, saying, "Oh, it's his camp," or it's the feds. They're trying to take out Trump because they think they can't get him. They can't get him in jail. He's going to beat the investigation or whatever. So this is their way of trying to take him out during an election year because he's a threat to the establishments. It's some hired assassin with, I mean, somebody who is affiliated with the DNC. And I'm thinking, well, no, whoever did this was somebody who was obviously very deranged. And to my understanding, the theories that I heard was, oh, it was somebody inspired by Antifa. It's Antifa trying to take out Trump. I'm thinking, well, if that were the case, it's like they obviously didn't get the job done then, if that's truly what you think.
Yeah.
And it's not very sophisticated to just try to run up in a crowded area like that and try to, take out the president, right? So, or anybody for that matter, but especially somebody with as much protection around them as the president. What I found truly sad too is the fact that you have, even if I don't agree with their political opinions, these innocent bystanders, these people in Pennsylvania that were out there to see Trump, people who maybe even traveled out of state to go see him. And I know there was one confirmed death amongst the spectators, and somebody else who I heard was critical. And I hope that they make it, and certainly offer my condolences to their family, to the families of those that were impacted by this. And so, yeah, and just making conspiracy theories about something like this is just sickening. It's you go back to Sandy Hook, it reminds me of the conspiracy theory. Like, and I hate to bring this up because I don't like giving this person any attention, but when Alex Jones is going around saying that Sandy Hook was an inside job, and he got hit with a massive class action lawsuit, and this, to my understanding, is why he was taken off of Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I mean, he just was blacklisted essentially off of social media entirely. And as much, I remember Bill Maher's reaction, oh, well, First Amendment rights. I'm thinking, well, yeah, he has the right to express a controversial opinion, but to promote a blatantly false conspiracy theory like that to millions of people, especially when it involves the death of innocent little children, that's a completely separate matter. And so, yeah, there are certain times where memes and jokes are funny, and there's another time when they're just offensive. And I think that because innocent people were killed in this particular incident yesterday, now it's not the time for conspiracies and for jokes and stuff like that. So just my personal opinion.
Did you hear about what did I don't know if you heard me mention Sandy Hook when before I cut out. Did you? Okay, I was making sure. I didn't know if I got it through. Yeah, yeah. It is kind of just because like there's no good that comes out of just immediately assuming just because you're afraid this will make Trump look good, which it will. Like you're afraid, like you don't like that, so it can't be real. It's like that's not how to process information. That's exactly what we've been making fun of MAGA for doing for the last 8 years. Every time something bad that besmirches the name of the fine, upstanding citizens of MAGA, whenever something like that happens, they immediately say, "Oh no, it's false." Like remember January 6th, like minutes after January 6th was going down, everyone I knew people saying, "Oh, this is obviously Antifa making us look bad." It's like you're just saying that you have no evidence for it whatsoever. You just want to protect your side. And another thing about the whole concept that this is a stage, because what I heard is that this is a stage conspiracy by the Trump campaign, and one thing you mentioned too is that, okay, did they plan for Trump to get injured? Because then it goes to what you said. So you're saying back when everyone thought that it was a bullet that hit him, that they actually, like, Trump volunteered to have someone shoot his ear? Like, you don't think that's real? And now that we found out it was glass, and so they had the ballistics worked out perfectly, where they would hit the teleprompter knowing it would cut his ear and not his eye. Come on, it's nonsense. You can't really believe that shit. And what you also mentioned too, like, let's just assume that this theory makes sense, that they had planned to stage this fake assassination. Why would they do it in public like that? Like, why would they do it in public where it could be exposed and caught? You have it on camera. They could, break down anything, any inconsistencies. Why would there just be one guy? You could have had several to make sure the job. I mean, that was odd. And like any nonsense conspiracy theory, and sure, look, could it have been fake? Yeah, sure, I guess. If you want to say I don't know. I'm not omniscient. I don't know everything. It just does. We got to Occam's razor this shit when this stuff goes down and make sure that it makes sense. And like most conspiracy theories, just one or two questions kind of makes it fall apart. It just collapses in on itself, because if you're actually planning something this large, and to do what exactly? To make Trump more likely to win the presidency. Trump was up in the polls. This is not something you do when Biden is on his back foot, when he's fighting for his life, not only in front of the American people, but to his own party. Joe Biden has never been weaker. Why would you pull off something risky like a fake murder attempt whenever you're ahead? That doesn't make sense at all. So it's just this gut feeling, emotional reaction, because you're afraid that Trump is going to look more popular, which, yeah, sure he will. But living in a fantasy world isn't going to make that better.
I completely agreed. I mean, for one, the first thing I'm thinking is, he's going to see a huge jump in the polls. I'd be very surprised if that weren't the case. Because really, this reminded me of when Theodore Roosevelt, for example, in 1912, was trying to run for his third term, not consecutive term, and he got shot during a speech, and yet he still went on to continue the speech. And so he tends to get kind of lionized for that. It reminds me of that.
He did not win, though, interestingly enough. I just thought about that. He didn't win that election. True. Yeah. So.
And that was where, to my understanding, because it was him against Taft, there was that split in the Republican Party.
Right.
Theodore Roosevelt in the Bull Moose Party, and then that was really what helped Woodrow Wilson kind of propel himself and win. So, but the idea is, though, is that to this day, more than 100 years later, we still talk about Theodore Roosevelt and think of him as like one of the most badass presidents of all time. Reminds me of that series that you have on TikTok, where can you beat the shit out of every U.S. president? So
I have that series, which I have to finish because I kind of stalled on. The last one I did was like Woodrow Wilson, I think, and I haven't picked up since. But people ask me about it. I got to finish, but I did another video talking about every president who got shot in office, and so and so. With that one, people bring up Roosevelt a lot because Roosevelt's not in the video. And I say, well, this is about people who got shot in office. And, he was shot running for office. And so Trump would have. But you're right. this is like, look, I hate when people don't face reality just because it's uncomfortable for them. That image of Trump pumping his fist and having the blood on his face, it's badass. It is. I mean, you can admit it. It's fine. It's perfectly fine to
flag flaving too and everything. Yeah.
And it is baller as fuck. It's okay to admit it. It doesn't mean Trump is good. It doesn't mean I'm saying vote for Trump. I'm just giving credit where credit is due. The guy got shot. And this is something, this is another thing people will talk about why they believe it's a conspiracy, because of the fist pump and the photo op, and they're like, oh, isn't it convenient that, you know, a shooting just happened and he just so happened to stand up and pump his fist? Why wasn't he running away? It's like, whenever people say that, I know right away they are not born entertainers. Like some people are, because like I tell you, look, I'd have done the exact same thing. I would have done the exact same thing. And if you're someone who like, Trump is a goddamn moron. He is. There's no real debate about that as far as I'm concerned. But he is a skilled entertainer and a crowd reader, and he has some of the best show business instincts that you could possibly possess. And if you are an entertainer and you don't immediately realize why, once he realized that a shooting, shots were fired, he was hit, he was okay, and the crowd was right there before he moved out, like, you know damn well he was going to get that photo op. It was the least surprising thing to me at all, but people are just tacking that in as part of the conspiracy, which I don't know. I just I'm just really disappointed in folks, because conspiracies, and there are conspiracies and there are conspiracies. Like, yeah, the government did like MK Ultra. That was a conspiracy. Like the Gulf of Tonkin was mostly bullshit. That's a conspiracy. But people just have a hard time accepting that sometimes fantastic and wild and unbelievable events happen that they're just like one person doing something weird. Like people just have a hard time buying that, you know?